This is a single stop training video, one of many in which we will go over the Vita training scenarios and how to maneuver the TaxSlayer software. In this video, we will navigate between the scenario package, TaxSlayer Practice Lab, and Publication 4012. In our previous training, we went over Link and Learn and how to access the Practice Lab. On your browser, type in vita.taxslayerpro.com, enter the password trainproweb in capital letter, then log in. If you have yet to create an account, please review the Link and Learn training video. For this training, we're using the tax year 2020 because tax year 2021 state section isn't fully functional on the practice lab. So everything that is marked 2021, we will read them as 2020. We have scenario 1, Rafael Cruz, a first-year filer. He's a full-time student pursuing a bachelor's degree. He's single and has lived with his parent his entire life. His parent provided all of his support in 2020. He was employed part-time. He tells us that he is not sure if his parents are claiming him on their return, but he would like to file his taxes anyway using his W-2 and a small interest income. He brought in his 1098-T form. He was covered all year under his parents' health insurance policy. If there is a refund, he would like to receive it by check. If he has to repay any taxes, he will mail the payment. After interviewing this client, what verification should you, the tax preparer, make before you prepare the tax return? Based on the interview notes, the only thing that Raphael is unsure of is whether or not his parents will claim him on their return. But we know that he lived with his parent his entire life, and they provided all of his support in 2020. Therefore, he qualified as a dependent. We have his W-2 form, his 1099 interest form, his 1098-T form for the tuition statement, and we have Form 13614C, the intake interview and quality review sheet that has his personal information such as name and mailing address, questions about his income for the tax year, expenses, life events. Every question needs to be either a yes or a no. Verify that none of the boxes are checked unsure and move on. Once you've successfully logged in TaxSlayer, click Go to Practice Area. On the right upper corner of the Practice Lab homepage, click Change Tax Year and select Year 2020. As I stated earlier, because the state information for tax year 2021 isn't available yet, for training purposes, we will prepare the scenarios in 2020. Click Start New 2020 Tax Return. The first information that the software will access is the primary taxpayer's social security number. For Rafael Cruz, his social is 101001234. Click Start Return. Based on the interview notes, we know that Rafael is single, and on the intake interview, he checked the box never been married, so he's filed the correct filing status is single. Click Continue. Input his personal information, first name Rafael, no middle initial, and last name Cruz. The social security number is already there. You will get the date of birth on the client's either state ID or driver's license. His date of birth is 5/5/1996, and his job title from the intake interview sheet is intake specialist. We know that he's a dependent on his parents' return, so make sure that you check the box stating that taxpayer can be claimed as a dependent on someone else's return. We also know that he's older than 18 and a full-time student at an eligible educational institution. Go ahead and check that box as well. Then scroll down and enter his mailing address. His mailing address is 380 Castle Hill Avenue, apartment 8A, New York, New York. Zip code 10026. Phone number is 212-555-5548. Scroll down and click continue. After entering his personal information, you will need to enter his New York State information for his New York return. Click yes for New York City or Yonkers residency. Are you a full year resident of Yonkers? No. Are you a full year resident of New York City? Yes. How many months did you live in New York City? 12 months, and click continue. Does your permanent home address different? Is your permanent home address different from the address on the return? No. Select the county. Raphael lives in Manhattan, New York. So the county for Manhattan is New York, and the school district is Manhattan. For this section, you have the option to either enter the 3-digit school district code or to select the school district from the drop-down menu. Either or is fine with the software. Click continue. He is a dependent himself, so he will not be claiming anyone else. Recovery rebate credit, that information is on the intake interview sheet, part 5, question 10. He answered no, he didn't receive any economic impact payment in 2020. So let's go ahead and select the box that says I have not received any stimulus payment, then click continue. Now we are at the income section. He provided us with a W-2. Click continue or begin next to W-2 so we can input the W-2 information. Starting with box B, the employee identification number. So the number is 5012345667. It will populate, oftentimes it will populate because TaxSlayer recognize the employer identification number. If for any reason it doesn't match what's on the W-2, go ahead and correct it. Add in the wages, tips, or under compensation, box 1. It's 9,534. Once you press enter, it will populate for box 3, 5, 4, and 6. Enter the federal income tax withheld and verify that box 3 and 4, 5, and 6 matches what you have on the W-2 form. Once you're done, go ahead and scroll down to the next section. We have box 14. Code is NYSDI. TaxSlayer doesn't have all the codes and it doesn't give you the option to type it in. So if you cannot find the code, click on Other Not Listed and enter the amount. Scroll down to the state information. State is New York. The EIN oftentimes will populate with the state wages. Fill in box 17 and 18 as well as box 19. For box 20, the locality name, most W-2s will have NY But if you scroll down, it'll give you important information that you need to know. If entering New York City as the locality, you must enter NYC in box 20. If entering Yonkers as the locality, you must enter Yonkers in box 20. So for box 20, instead of putting NY, we're entering NYC. Click continue. Click continue again. The next piece of information that we obtained from Raphael is the 1099 interest form. Click begin next to 1099 INT. Click begin next to interest or dividend income. Check interest income form 1099 INT and click continue. Transfer the information from the form to the software, from the payer's name, Banco Popular, any bank, the payer tax ID number, the payer's address, Seven West 51st Street, New York, New York 10019. And the only box with information is box 1, interest income, with a total of $9.82. Scroll down and click continue. On the right side of the page, the AGI federal and state number will change. This number will fluctuate as you're adding more information on the tax return. Click continue. Raphael only had 2 tax forms for income. He also provided us with Form 1098T. So based on the interview notes that we have, does he qualify for any tuition credit? Let's review publication 4012 on who cannot claim the education credit on page 223. So who can claim the credit? Married filing separately filing status, anyone listed as a dependent on another person's tax return, taxpayers whose modified AGI is more than the allowable income limit, and if taxpayer was a non-resident alien for any part of the tax year. We know that Raphael is a dependent on his parents' return, so therefore he does not qualify for this credit, but his parents do, so the 1098T form will be added on their return. So we've entered the 2 sources of income that Raphael gave us. Scroll to the bottom of the page and click continue. We're now on the deduction page. Raphael does not qualify for any credit because he's a dependent. His exemption is 0. So we can jump to the health insurance section by using the menu on the left side of the screen. We know he was covered under his parents' insurance, so no, he did not purchase it from the marketplace. Click continue and click edit to start his state return. This is a basic state return. We will review the information entered at the beginning of this video about his New York City residency, the school district and county, and the number of months he lived in the country. Once you've reviewed all those information to make sure that everything is correct, click exit return and click continue. Click continue. On the e-file page, you will select what federal return type you want. Based on the interview notes, we know that Raphael wants a paper check. Select e-file paper check from the drop-down menu for federal and same for return. fill out the consent to disclose information. The client has the right to either grant consent or deny consent. Select grant consent for this training. Type in the 5-digit code or PIN number, select the date, click next. You can skip questions and custom credit. And for the purpose of this training, let's go ahead with no driver's license or state ID present, then click save. Once you're done, click ready for review so the quality reviewer knows that the tax return is complete and ready for the second step. Then click save and exit return. So this is it for the scenario 1. This is a very simple and basic tax return. Please stay tuned for the other videos. Thank you.